Hi everyone. So I wanted to make an update and just let everyone know about recent like arrivals and purchases, as well as some exciting news, which is that I found all of my old tarot and oracle decks, which is amazing. I never expected to find them. In short, the way I found them was that I went back to my storage space. I've been working on getting everything from my storage space cleared and dealt with over the last few weeks. More on that in a few minutes. But first, I wanted to just show everyone some just sort of recent purchases that I made that are kind of exciting. The first one was arrived in an envelope like this and said that it was from China, Guangdong, China. So I didn't know what was in there, and I was really surprised when I opened it up because what came out is this. So I ended up with this kind of packaging, which I don't know if you can really fully appreciate it, but it's kind of like everything was encased in a giant bubble. Like I can't really even get to what's inside of this. After opening it, I realized it was the Marshmallow Tarot. Some interesting feelings about this. I could have ordered it on Amazon and gotten the deck for, I think $40 with free Prime shipping. Instead, I ordered it directly from the maker, whose name completely just escaped me, but I know that he's in Mexico, and I ordered it instead from him directly from Mexico, thinking, it might be more fun to get it directly from the maker and the author. And so I was kind of shocked when it came directly from the printer in China. So I don't know. I hope that maybe that means that he got more money for it, or more of the money went directly to him instead of to Amazon. I don't know. I hope that's the case, but it did cost an extra $7 of shipping, which is kind of annoying, if I'm honest. But it's not a big deal. So beautiful deck, beautiful box. Everyone, I think, has had more than enough chances to see this deck and know what it's about. I figured if I needed to get another Marseille deck or two that I wanted to work with, as I used to really enjoy working with pip decks, especially with clients. I never used them to read for myself. I just always wanted to use them for clients. Again, I maybe make another video about that again at some point. But just even, I don't know, they're just so beautiful. But they're way smaller than I expected. I have really big hands. And I guess it's just normal that sometimes a piece of, something's going to show up and just be like littler than you expected. But they're gorgeous. And I'm really not disappointed with the cards at all. I am a little disappointed with the card stock. I don't know if anybody's talked about this. I haven't heard it yet, but the card stock feels kind of flimsy. It's not really, it's kind of got like a little bit of texture on it. I don't know if that's going to come across on the camera here or not. I don't think we can really see it. Oh, a little bit. You can see it a little bit in the white area. There's just the tiniest hint of texture, but otherwise it's not like it's linen stock. I don't know, that part of it kind of annoyed me a little bit, because I have playing cards that were given to me for free or that were cheap that feel like they're made like a little bit sturdier than this. And if this is going to tolerate a lot of shuffling, and I'm really into the riffle shuffling, and I do the bridge, and I really enjoy shuffling cards, so if they're not going to be, super, I don't know, I don't want to damage them because they're so pretty, but I also really still want to be able to use them. So we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, I thought it would be interesting to show you guys the case that it came in, because I think it was Holly on Cape Cod Creatures who was talking about this most recently and saying, like, if you're going to send something direct from China, bubble wrap, and the bubble envelope isn't going to be enough. Boy, this thing is, feels virtually indestructible. I mean, it's a brilliant piece of wrapping. And I mean, as a ceramics person, I'm like, wow, I'm really going to hold on to that. Because when I make ceramics, I don't usually ship. I may change that soon. But, you know, I do shows and stuff. And if I have to pack up loads of ceramics, having something like this is a great thing to have around for all kinds of things. So that'll be good. So that's that. And the Marshmallow Marseille. I also got a new copy of The Wild Unknown because my old deck, and I should have grabbed it first, but I did not think to do that. So my original Wild Unknown, I think is like maybe a first edition. I love it. I think it's pretty much universally loved. But as soon as I realized that that was like a first edition deck, I felt a little differently about appropriating it for my own use. You know, it's got the old card backs and the little piece of paper instead of the white book. So it's pretty sweet. And I just love it. I know it was one of the decks that I bought, like, when I decided I really didn't like tarot anymore, I don't know that I ever decided I didn't like it. I think I just decided that I didn't need to engage it for a while, really. That was the main thing. And I really worried that maybe I had given up all of my decks and thrown all of them out, but I didn't, thankfully. So I've got those here, and I'm excited to show everyone. Anyway, the new one is great. The new cards are stunning. I think everyone's seen those, but I'm looking forward to playing with this. So exciting. I think, intend to use it for my own personal use at this point, but I'll let you know if that changes. So there's a Wild Unknown. And I also got this. So it's a tarot box. And I'll put a link in the notes for the video about the maker. But I decided, since my personality card came out as, you know, this is as the High Priestess, I thought, wow, I kind of want to honor that somehow. And I just liked the box. It's a really pretty box. Slides open this way, and it's a very comfortable slide in and out. And I ordered it on Etsy, and for whatever reason, Amazon delivered it. No idea why. And I live in South City in St. Louis, and we cannot get things delivered here. So when I mail things or get things delivered, they have to go to my mom and dad's house, which is a good, 45 minutes to an hour away. I don't mind. It means I get to go see them more frequently and just check on my tiny house and make sure it's okay. But it is kind of annoying. Anyway, the box is beautiful. And they also threw in a little thing where it's like, if you buy a box, you can get a matching keychain for $3. So I was like, fun times. Fun matching keychain. I like to update keychains relatively frequently, one, because they fall apart a lot. But also, it's nice to change the energy, I think, around your keychains and things like that you use a lot. So that was kind of cool. So there's those. And I think that's all. Oh, I also I'm almost done with my little show and tell here, but I had also ordered a Rigpa Tibetan calendar that basically is for the year of the Earth Pig. Fun times. Year of the Earth Pig. I don't know what that means yet, but I'm sure I will find out. But as a recently converted is probably not the word I want, but as someone recently, practicing in the Tibetan tradition, there's a lot to learn. It is like practicing some form of, definitely like practicing some form of magic, or some form of, really very, very shamanic. A lot of drums, a lot of instruments, a lot of sound, and use of sound, and use of visual images and imagery to connect very specifically with, particular deities and guardians and protectors, which to me is, that screams of like sigil magic and, and the like. So there's a lot of that happening in here. And I really just, as much as anything, it is like a calendar that you can use daily, and it does have all the Tibetan characters and so on, which is helpful because that's something I need to learn. But it also has like all of the different feast days, or like, it marks what days are Dakini days, or all of those kinds of important holidays and feast days and stuff that you kind of, if you're working within the tradition, I think you want to just know. And plus, it makes your practice more fun. I mean, I think that's why people practice ritual magic in part, is because it's fun to engage, with the rituals and with taking care of those things. There's a lot of beautiful tankas in here. So it's a really neat little calendar. It was very inexpensive, easy to carry around, lots of photos. Of course, lots of tribute in here to different Tibetan teachers and leaders. It's pretty cool. Yeah, there's a lot in here. I think just by paying attention and going through it, I will learn a lot. It doesn't start officially in here until February. So it actually doesn't start until the literal New Year and just before. So this calendar doesn't begin even until the 5th of February, which is really interesting. So I have it in plenty of time by getting it in January. So there's that. And I also realized too that I had ordered a butter lamp, which is very popular in the Tibetan tradition. Most Buddhists will have 2 candles either side of the altar, on either side of the Buddha. This one, it's a little brass one. You put a wick in the hole, and you fill it with oil or butter, or, I would think in Tibet it would be yak butter. But here we have olive oil, or we have coconut oil, or some other form of oil that can go in there, and you burn it. And I'd only bought one. I had some money for my birthday, so I bought several ritual items that I didn't have. And I'd only bought one, not thinking about oh, that's right, it takes the place of the candles, so I might actually want 2. So now I have 2. So those came in the mail as well. So there's that. As always, this is way longer than I ever expect it to be. I've also got fun stuff. I found the Shakespearean Tarot, which I haven't gone through yet, but it was in my storage space. Essentially what happened was I left Chicago in 2012, and I was in a seminary program there in a Buddhist temple, in a Zen Buddhist temple, and I had every intention and expectation of becoming probably a Zen temple priest, and I was asked by the head of the organization to take over the Chicago temple. Long story short, he wanted me to probably just going to cover the bases here. There was a lot, but he essentially wanted me to give up my dog as part of the conditions of, yes, you can be a temple priest, be celibate, shave your head, or at least keep your hair really, really short, and, take a vow of poverty and basically be on call 24/7 and so on. And I was ready for all of that, but I was really not willing in any way to give up my dog. So long story short, I didn't follow through with it and made the decision instead to step down from that possibility. And then I was ostracized. So I was ostracized out of the order. I later found out that he asked that people stop speaking to me and stop talking to me, stop engaging me, which is inexcusable from a religious leader. It was rough. Anyway, so I found myself at a point where I needed to pack up everything I had left and leave Chicago and come back to Missouri. It coincided with my mom needing to have a surgery and having some other things like health issues going on at that time. So it was actually well-timed, and so many beautiful things happened in the time after that. So it wasn't a bad thing. It just was a really tough thing. And it was very much reflected in the way that I packed and the way that I left Chicago. So I uncovered a box yesterday in storage that's like this. It's this like giant book box kind of thing. Is the fad for a while, like in the early 2000s, of like, hey, get this cool box. It looks just like a leather-bound book. So I did that and then pulled it out of another box, and lo and behold, I see some of the millions of paper clips. I found so many paper clips. I guess I was hoarding them. Anyway, I found a whole box of tarot and oracle cards. So what fun is this? Let's see what's here. So I hope that camera angle's okay. So we've got this whole box full of stuff. I do not know where these oracle cards came from. They were not wrapped. There's no book with them. But I remember being deeply influenced by these and really loving these back in the day. I think you can see, like, especially love this card. I've always loved that card. So beautiful. Anyhow, I was very, very, oh, this one, maybe they're Lynn Andrews. I feel like maybe I want to say Lynn V. Andrews. Does that ring a bell? It's been a while. Anyway, these were beautiful. I loved them, and they somehow ended up wadded up in here, but without any kind of protective covering. What else do I have? I have this deck, which I believe, as I'm looking in, are the animal medicine cards. Wow, yeah, they are. There's a bunch of little things in here with them. Yeah. Anybody remember these? Kind of a blast from the past. Look at the backs. If anybody wants me to do a walkthrough, let me know. I'd be happy to do a walkthrough of these. I don't know how many, like, I don't even know if these are in print. I did find the book, but I forgot to bring the book home. I think it was just packed in with books. Anyway, that's their little bag. What is this in here? Wow. Some kind of herbs or something, probably mugwort. So there's that. These, I think, would be, these are going to be Osho. Maybe these are going to be Osho Zen Tarot. Let's find out. No. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Oh, I can't believe I still had one. Oh my gosh. And I clearly threw the book away at some point. These, I guess these are the Medieval Scapini or the Visconti Sforza deck. I don't know. They were probably, I mean, it's one or the other. It's got the fake gold foil on it. Oh, beautiful. I thought I didn't know I even had one of those. I guess this was the deck I was using with clients when I still read. Because I always kept a pip deck. Oh, pretty little moon. Anyway, wow, that's a surprise. I didn't expect to find that. Wow. Okay, so there's that guy. So cool. Look at that. Some aura energy photos. I can hardly wait to see how we find my aura looking in here. Oh, well, there's my energy system as per like early 2000s. I don't know when that photo was taken, but late 90s, early 2000s. Oh, and here's another one back when I had very short hair. It was an actual Curlian aura photo. Looks different than, I don't know that I remember it. It looks like the colors may have shifted slightly, but not a huge amount. Anyway, interesting that I kept it. There's our little guy. Looks pretty much the same now. I don't know if there's really any changes in there in the new versions. So one of these, I think, I used to keep lots of holy water around. I feel like these would probably be the Osho ones. Yeah, they are. Look at that. There they are. They still look exactly the same. So this was my own personal deck. Always loved that card. So that's really nice to find. And they really held up well. I mean, this is a deck that's easily over 20 years old. And there's not that much chipping on the edges. They still look really, really good. I'm amazed. Because I used them a lot. And so if that's what these are, then these must be my universal, I know that they are my universal weight cards. Because I had a specific, I loved the universal weight card. They were my favorite. Here's a piece of silk scarf here that I loved. It's very, very old at this point. And there's my little sweeties. Yeah, and they're kind of yellowed. I don't know that the camera's really showing it well. They're kind of yellow. Wow, they are really getting old. Yeah. Yeah. I always found a way to I would always ask the Fool to identify itself in the deck when I would cut the cards so that I could have the Fool on top of the deck. That was always my ritual at the end of a reading, was to say, okay, Fool, I'm trying to find you. Where are you? And I would ask him to show up and pop out or cut the cards, and usually he would just jump right out of the deck. Like I'd just be kind of overhand shuffling and he would be like, poof, and pop out. So I could take him out, pull the deck back together, and put him back in. So, wow, see my old little friends there. That's really neat. That's really neat. And the difference, too, between the way that, I don't know if these are just dirty or worn or what. I don't even know that that's showing up on the camera. There's like texture on the backs of them and stuff. I can feel like, especially this one, which was on the bottom. Interesting, it was the Four of Cups on the bottom. Feel like they feel kind of old. I definitely had on lots of hand lotion and lots of oil on my hands. Yeah, they have kind of they don't smell bad. They smell more like incense than anything else. But anyway, that's my first ever deck of cards from probably 1995, I would say. If I had to guess a year, I would say it was 95. I used to have, I'm pretty sure that I had these first. Actually, I know I did. I had a Tarot de Marseille first, and I do not know whatever became of that deck. I think in my clear out, it just got tossed, so too bad. And I realized after working with Tarot de Marseille, which was what my best college friend used, another friend was using Universal Weight, and I just loved the cards. I thought they were so fascinating and beautiful, and this is before I knew anything about the systems or anything to do with them. So, fascinating. Just keeping the camera and everything going there. And then last but not least, we've got all of the, this is empty velvet bag. Holy water. Ooh, there's even still some holy water left in this one. That's interesting. I have a St. Christopher's medal in here. I did used to practice very devout Christianity, actually. So the last time I would have been actively working with my cards, I probably was still practicing it very devoutly. This was my absolute favorite oracle deck. I mentioned this, I think, to Katie Flowers when she was talking about nice, I can't remember, like nicifying decks or whatever. But yeah, I mean, as a means of self-care, man, I turn to these cards regularly for self-care, and really, really loved them. And I didn't even know actually until joining the tarot community that something had happened with Doreen Virtue and that she had changed paths. So it was very interesting to find out. I don't know what I will do with my oracle cards. I don't think I had this one for very long before I moved back to the States. And I don't even remember getting Ascended Masters. I know I found my journals as well in the storage space, so maybe I'll go look that up and see if I ever worked with these decks or how much. But these guys I know were like, I always worked with this one and Osho Zen. So exciting stuff. And then of course, there you are again. I also worked for a little while with Shakespearean Tarot, and I remember not being all that impressed with the deck itself, except that it helped familiarize me with different Shakespearean characters and the way that they were. So as a theater person, because that's what I did for the majority of my career, actually, it was really cool because I could go and look in here and see different things depicted in the cards that were, in the plays and so on, and it was just a lot of fun. So if you want me to do walkthrough, I don't even know if this is still in print. If anybody wants a walkthrough of these or the medicine cards, let me know in the comments and I can do a walkthrough for you. Okay, until next time, bye.